Hi, this is Chris from needlepointers.com. I got a Cricut Explore Air machine and have been using it to make cards and some other items. Today I wanted to share with you these shadow boxes that I created with my Cricut and have tips on putting them together. A lot of Cricut projects don't have many instructions on how to assemble them, so I thought this video may be helpful. I love sunflowers, so when I saw the sunflower shadow box I had to make myself one. Annette and I both love to garden, so I made her this gardening shadow box. Today I am going to make a US flag welcome shadow box. This shadow box will be perfect for the 4th of July. What you will need to make this shadow box is the shadow box design, a shadow box frame, a Cricut Explore or Maker series or other paper cutting machine, colored cardstock or scrapbooking paper sheets, glue dots or foam dots, and mat board or another thicker board to use as a spacer. The designs for these shadow boxes are all available from an Etsy shop, Nice to Cut. Needle Pointers is an Etsy affiliate, so if you make a purchase on Etsy after clicking our link, we will earn a commission on the sale. When you purchase a design from Nice to Cut, they include the design files you need for Cricut and other cutting machines. Check the listing to make sure it will work with your machine. It also includes a PDF on the design showing all of the layers that are to be cut and the order to assemble them. They also include how to personalize the design with another PDF with more instructions. Lastly, their designs include a separate design for a frame that you can cut and use around your finished shadow box. This frame could also be used as a spacer inside your shadow box frame. Once you make one of these designs, you won't want to stop. They're very addicting to make and gift. I prefer to frame my shadow box in a frame with glass or plastic. For the first two shadow boxes, I used an 8x8 black shadow box frame. For this new one, I will be using a 12" by 12" white shadow box frame. The designs can be resized to fit most square frames. The limitation is the size of your mat on your cutting machine. Review the PDF included with the files that has the list of the colored layers, including the color of the cardstock or scrapbook paper to be used. Each layer is listed in the order to assemble the shadow box. So, the last layer is shown first. Each layer will also have a cutout number so you can keep them in order. Note that your cutting machine will not cut them in this order, but that is okay. The cutting machine may group all of the pages with the same color and cut them in a row. Pick out the paper to use for each layer and set it aside. Once you have the files for the design, open Cricut Design Space and follow the shadow box instruction PDF file included with your purchase to load the SVG into your project. The design can be resized to the size of the frame you have. I resized mine to just about 11.5 inches since that would fit into my shadow box frame. The design instructions say to select the cutting lines and attach for each layer. I have found that the designs work without needing this step, but if you get to the make steps and find that all the shapes are all over the place and don't look like the design, then you will need to do the attach step. Cut out each of the paper layers with the cutting machine. I recommend using a light grip mat. Carefully remove the sheet by flipping the mat sideways and curling the mat away from the paper. Use your tools to remove any extra cut paper. I have already cut all of my layers and have them here ready to be assembled. Place them in numerical order. The one without the number is the top layer. When I first tried putting together my shadow box, I tried using just foam squares in between the layers and to be separators, but I didn't like how that worked because the layers weren't being supported as well. For this garden shadow box, I used strips of cut mat board in between the layers to give it more support. I alternated between having the mat board on the top and bottom, and then the next layer they would be on the sides. So it would go back and forth, and it would give it support going up. This one has a lot of layers, so a couple of the layers don't have spacers in between, and for that I just use glue dots. So I use the glue dots to hold the mat board in place. You have to make sure you cut the mat board small enough so it will fit in the margins and not show in your design. I use mat board because I have a lot of extra around, but you could also use a foam board as a separator and cut it into strips. So put your layers together and make sure your design looks correct, and then we're going to start assembling it from the bottom up. So here I have 2 strips, one on each side, and I'll use my handy glue dots to assemble it by putting a glue dot on each end of the mat board and then placing it right along the edge. And then do that on the other side. And I'm putting the black facing up just so you could see, but I would keep the white side facing up so that if you see a small bit of it, it would not show. So there I have the first 2 on, and then I will put glue dots on top. You could also use a white glue. I'm not sure if a glue stick would hold it enough, but you could try that. Right, so now we're ready for our next layer. So center the next layer on top. Press it down. Now this time I'll put the separator strips on this side, on these sides. And I'll just, each layer, I'll keep alternating between the right and left and the top and bottom, right and left and top and bottom. And I'm going to keep building up my layers until I get up to the top. So I'll be back after I've assembled and put all the layers together on this design. So here you can see I have all the shadow box layers, and because there's little separators in there, it makes it the shadow box look. And here's all the different layers, and you can see there's a mat board in between every other layer there, and then a mat board in between the different layers here. And the final step to create your shadow box is to place the whole thing into your frame and put the back on the frame. There's my finished shadow box. Now if you're interested in where I got these designs and or where to find these shadow boxes and the glue dots and stuff that I used, please click the link in the description of this video and go to our webpage for this project, and on that page will be links to those different things. We hope you enjoyed learning how to assemble a shadow box with your Cricut Explore or Maker machine. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Like and share our videos, and if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to our channel so you won't miss future videos. Visit our website, needlepointers.com, for lots of other tutorials and free projects. While you are there, sign up for our free weekly newsletter so you won't miss new tutorials. Happy crafting!